Hello! A very quick unboxing. This time it's for the Lian Li 011 Dynamic XL case. So let's see how we get on. Right, so that's the top. Let's take this bit of cardboard out. That's the box of bits, which we'll look at in a minute. Okay. As with everything, it's easier to lift the case out of the box by lifting the box off the case. It is quite a heavy case. I'll flip those out. If you open it from, oh, you can see that. I'll flip those out so they don't get caught. But if you want to be sneaky, if you open it from the bottom, then when you lift it off, they don't get snagged. Little sort of carrying handle bits. So let's see what happens when I lift this up now. Make sure it's out on this side. That's a lot easier and less stressful than, that's the way to put it. That's a lot easier and less stressful than trying to lift the whole thing out. So that's from the top and the bottom. That's the bottom. So that's, this is quite heavy. A nice big bit of foam. Pack of something. And what we can do is, at the bottom we can see there's actually a dust filter which we can slide out. Let's flip it back over again. Not quite sure which direction I'm going to do it in, but I'll have a go. There are, I don't know if you noticed, there are some black foam feet on it as well, because the whole thing is aluminium, even the feet. So they've put some black foam on there just to stop it scratching surfaces. Right, and there we go. That probably isn't the best angle, is it? So let's just flip it round. Oh, it's still very heavy. And that's that. Whew. Right, we're going to see better if we take things off. Now these are finger tight, so we don't need to get a screwdriver out just yet. And they're also captive as well, which is kind of good. So that, I think, just slides out. At least it's supposed to. It's not doing it at the moment. Not quite sure why. Oh, idiot. There's a oh yeah, how best to show you it? If I spin that round, there's actually a release catch just there. Why? Because now I flicked it, it comes off. How very, very annoying. Totally unnecessary, I think, really, because it's already got screws on there. So when you undo the screws, it's not unreasonable to expect the thing to just come off, is it, really? You know, just saying. So let's get these other side panels off. The good thing is that where they sit in, can you see? It doesn't go in a lip. It goes. That is the bottom of it there, so rather than having to lift it out like that or struggle or grab the glass, you can just hold the bottom edge and it comes straight off like that. And then there's one at the front as well. This should actually make it a bit lighter now the glass is gone. And I think the front's a bit different because the front is actually on the bottom, but I can just push it and lift it up, and that's the front there. So now we've got a bit more of an open sort of plan view of things. There's a dust filter on the top, and then that dust filter at the bottom as well. There it is there, look. These are all rubber grummety bits. So let's just take the back panel off, and we'll make it even lighter. It'd be nice if it was on a spinny thing, wouldn't it, really? So I think we'll get that on. So that's that, got that off now. So now that's all the side panels off, and we'll have a look at the back first, which is here. There's a couple of doors which come off right here. Those are these are drive bays. I'm not quite sure how you get them out. There must be a clip or something that you can press to get them out, or whether they just yank out, I don't know. But there is that is a drive bay. 1, 2, 3, 4 3.5 inch drives can go in there. So whether that unscrews there and it comes out, I don't know. It's not obviously apparent. There's also a hatch there which I can take out, and that hatch presumably is for a vertical mount for something, like a card or something, or GPU maybe. It's only 2 slots wide though, so that rather limits it a little bit. There's also a little rubber pad down there, which is what the power supply sits on, because you can fit multiple power supplies in. I'm going to take that off. So I've got the PH2 for this screw here. I'll just take those off. See what's behind this. It's got holes in it with grommets on, so it's obviously going to be used to mount drives. But we'll see if we can take it off first and foremost, like this. That's definitely loosened it. So I'm kind of hoping that'll come off, and it does. It's actually got some little tipping points there. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's little sticky up bits, so it does sort of clip in. And now we can see the back of the hot swap drive bays, because they are hot swap. They're all plumbed in. They've all got the SATA cables, the power, and there's a bit of Velcro here, and then individually, yeah, there's one SATA power connector for 2 bays, which is kind of helpful. It does make wiring them up. So if you want to power 4 drives, you just need to use 2 cables. And then there's obviously the individual data cables as well. They're good cables. They're latched, so you can see they've got the little press button on. So that means they're a bit, they're higher quality than the ones that don't have that. There's a cable tie here that I'm going to undo. That's the RGB. So that's the 3-pin 5-volt aRGB, and it's got a SATA power for that. So that's because there's obviously RGB in it. And there's the front mounted HD audio, and your usual motherboard services sort of connectors. And then there's the Gen 2 USB 3, but you've also got these here. So we'll just take this out as well. There's a cable tie holding that in. There's another a USB 3, which is the 2 bottom ports. There's another one for USB 3 for the top ports. Because what I'll do now is just move some of these pieces out of the way. I'll flip it round and we'll look at the front of it. So at the front, you've got power, reset, USB, And then there's a type C connector there as well, and there's a button that controls the lights on it as well, in case you're not controlling it using software. But right at the bottom there's more USB 3 sockets. So getting a motherboard that's got 2 USB 3 connectors and a USB 3 Gen 2 is obviously going to be a little bit awkward. So getting all the ports to work might be a problem, but there is a solution for that, because there is a little interface that you can get that allows you to double up the USB 3 from a single port. I'll put a link to that in the description. It's just a little circuit that you can get, and then you plug them all in and then all the ports will work. Because when you're building it yourself, getting everything to work isn't quite the same as if you buy a computer. If you buy a computer, then it's generally expected that everything that you can plug something into works. When you're doing it yourself, if it doesn't matter that much, well, you decide whether it matters, don't you? So if you want all 3 sockets, you know, if you want all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you want all 5 USB 3 sockets working, you're going to need to do a little bit of, be a bit creative with the motherboard and other accessories that you use in the case to get it all, you know, to get them working. So yeah, it's it is quite a lot bigger than its little smaller brother or sister. I still want to know how to get the drives out the back. Let's just see if I can work it out. There is a screw. I think if I undo that screw there is a screw on the back. I think if I undo the screw, I think, yeah, look, it slides and then the drive bays come out. And then lock it back in and slide it across. So there is actually a little retention screw that holds it in, which is kind of funky. So I'm still a bit annoyed about that. No point having that there at all, other than to frustrate people. Have we got any LED strips along the... No, there aren't any LED strips on the Razor edition of the smaller version of this. There are LED strips running along the bottom, along that edge there, and on the other side as well. On this one, I think you only get the LEDs running down that edge there. There's actually quite a big fan mount spot there. There's also plates there, and you can put a really long radiator there, and then there's a space on the top for a radiator as well. When it comes to vertically mounting your GPU, they do a separate kit for it, which is this one, and that sort of sits there, and there's a hole where it puts a rod in and it sort of sits there, so you can get quite a lot underneath, quite a lot of fans and things underneath. Obviously that's not where you put the radiator, unless it's part of a bigger loop, because any air in the system will always collect at the highest point in the loop, won't it? So if you got to make the highest point in the loop, not the pump, is the general idea, isn't it, really? Let's have a look in that box, see what we've got in there, see what accessories we get with it. So we just tip the whole thing out and see what we get. That's interesting. There's little plastic bits there, and we'll have a look in this as well to see what we get in there. So that's the big bag. So that's a thank you for, that's pretty standard for Lian Li. You get a thank you for your purchase. Use this QR code and send us a picture of it. Kind of nice. That's the bag of screws. There's actually a couple that look like fan mount screws. They're quite big screws. I'm assuming they're fan mount screws for maybe the rear ones, because there's only 4 of them. And then you get the other screws. You'll get the standard sort of 3.5-inch thread ones, and then the 2.5-inch drive threads. Those are pretty standard. But you're also going to get the ones with smooth and then the thread for, you poke them through the grommets and then screw them in, so there's they stop where the sort of grommety thing is. That is the GPU support bracket, which obviously is going to be a bit of a problem depending on what kind of motherboard you put in. Anything that's a bit funky, that won't fit. 4 cable ties, there's already 1 on there, so you get 5 cable ties in total. So there's the 5th one. So we'll just kind of stick that on there if we can. So that's, oh, it's not sticking, there it is. There we go, the one way around. So you get 5 cable ties in total. Not that anyone really uses cable ties. And they've given a couple of various little plastic bits. That one is that for that latch? No, it's not. I don't think you get a spare latch. You do get some various clips. I think it's these clips here, look. If I try and push that and push that, does it come up? Doesn't want, it's screwed in. There's 2 screws there, so I'll just undo those screws. What I did there was I obeyed my 2-finger rule. So you always use 2 fingers, because the forces that you can apply with 2 fingers, it hurts before you can do damage. If you're using your whole hand or your arm or your fist or anything else, you can apply a lot more force before it hurts. So you kind of stop yourself from breaking stuff because it hurts. So that wasn't going to come out until I'd undone those 2 screws, and then these clips here is what that is. So you get spare ones, so they're obviously expecting those to break, and they probably will. I don't know what that clip's for. Quick glimpse at the manual. Those little clips there are for these hard drive things here, and I'm just going to release that one, which is a little bit awkward. So these plates at the back, you can see there they are there, look, they're on there. So these blanking plates and drive mounting plates at the back, that's what those clips are for. So they've sent you a couple of spares of those as well. They are a bit fiddly to put in, but you know, once they're in, aren't they, really? So you just take your time. So you get spare bits in case you break stuff. That doesn't seem like it's big. It's really, oh, well, I don't know, it might be. That doesn't seem like it's big enough to be a PSU mount unless, well, I don't know. I'm not going to put 2 power supplies in there anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, right, so if you've got any questions, then or comments, then stick them in the comments. Liking and subscribing is appreciated, and as ever, thanks for watching.